Guys, and welcome back to my Final Fantasy Brave Exvius channel, where we're going to be diving into something I've already completed previously, and I'm sure a lot of other people have completed previously. It's the Gilgamesh trial. That's right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take in 5 units that'll be able to help us get this done. Now, there's a few things to keep in mind. I'm not going to be doing all of the mission rewards. I've already done them previously. I won't be using any items. I'm only going to be using 5 units. But what we're really looking at today is, just with the current meta, a lot of the current units that we have out, how we're able to take this Gilgamesh down and make it as easy as possible. Now, some of the things that are very important during this fight. Gilgamesh is known for these different elements and these different attacks that he has. So with all the 5 units, we're going to want to soak up as much of the units as we can and get as many of the elements that we can get on them to make sure that we're doing damage and, blocking off some of the abilities that Gilgamesh has at different thresholds. So with a lot of these trials these days, there's always different thresholds on different moves and things like that you have to be aware from, certain things you have to do before the threshold. This fight seemed a lot more difficult, in the past. Of course, with a lot of the newer content that we've came up with at this point, we're able to pretty much just take it down, but we still should, follow, what's necessary to get that done. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. As you guys can see, I do have Rain, Yastola, Wilhelm, Noctis, and Tidus. We're not going to be using a friend unit, as I said. We're just going with 5 units, no items. So we're going to dive in here and see what we can do here to get them taken care of. So a lot of you have probably been able to acquire a lot of equipment, and we're not really going to be using a lot of the free-to-play player units. I'm just using a lot of what I have. So if you're using this as a guide, just keep that in mind. But as you can see, these are the espers that we're using. Man-eater is very important with the Diablos there. But with Rain, we're just going to want to build him in a fashion where we're putting on some wind, some fire. He also does come with some fire and earth, which I'll show you in just a second. But a lot of his exclusive equipment, that's what we're going to throw on him. Some HP, some MP, and of course dual wield to get those 2 weapons and the elements that we need. And there we go. This is the lava floor. This move is very important here. We get that fire and earth damage, which is awesome. And then we have our healer, Yastola. Yastola, we're going to put a lot of defense, spirit, some of her exclusive equipment on her as well. We want to build her with a lot of MP, spirit, and HP. We don't want any problems with our healer, of course. And she's not really going to be hitting anything or doing any attacks. We're just using her for healing. And we have Wilhelm, that innate resistance. He's an awesome unit. We're building him very tanky. As you can see with the high HP and the high defense, it's crazy. The the Genji shield is very awesome because of that death protection that we need. And a lot of the abilities, just a bunch of defense and HP. So a really good build here for a solid tank. And then we have Noctis, my boy Noctis here. Unfortunately he's falling off the meta, but we're going to use him in this fight. We have the Excalibur to get that light on him, to chain with one of our other units that I'll show you in a second. And then we're just trying to get the attack as high as possible. And then that Thunder Flask, as I said, like one of the elements is lightning, and it needs to be hybrid damage. This is one of the highest priorities in this fight because paralyzing our units is not something we want. And Tidus is very good in this fight. Some of the innate resistance, we're going to throw on water with the Brotherhood TM that he has, and then Excalibur with light. So we have 2 sources of light in this fight, and we're just trying to get his attack as high as possible, our highest attacker in this fight. So we're going to be able to do a lot of damage with Tidus in this fight, so he'll come through with us in the clutch. And some of his abilities, he's very good, well-rounded, can do a lot of support, and of course, we all know he can do damage, but, we're looking at him to just be able to help us out in a lot of different ways in this fight, So we're going to pretty much just dive into the fight here, and I'm not going to be talking too much throughout the fight. I'm just going to, mention a few things that I think are pretty important or key on what I did to take this boss down. So we're starting off with Wilhelm. I always like to start off with the tanks in each fight. We want to make sure that we're getting the protection we need. So we're going with Impregnable to get that 100% provoke up and that mitigation that we always want. It's what makes him very good. And then with Y'shtola, we're really just going to, so the first one I'm just using to kind of get everything set and buff. So we're going to go with a dual, we're going to use our dual caster, Presence of Mind, to put Shell God and Protect a God. And then with Noctis, we're just going with cover, get some HP and MP regen going. And then I believe with Rain, what we're doing here is we're just going to be buffing up our team. And he has a really good buff. He's kind of overlooked now with a lot of the new units that we have. But in this fight, man, he's very essential. And then with Tidus, there's not really much you can do since we have a lot of other things covered. So we're probably just going to go in and just attack here. So the thresholds that I mentioned earlier, the ones that we're looking out for are the thresholds at 80%, 50%, and 30%. At each threshold, there's different types of abilities that he tends to use. So with the different elements that we have, we want to make sure that as the fight progresses, that we're addressing each of those things. So right now, he has his defense and spirit up, and we always want to make sure that we're dispelling that if we can. So if we're able to dispel that, that's something we can. I believe Tidus should be able to with Finger Snap or Y'shtola with her dispel, and that's with the Esper actually. So we always want to make sure you have someone that can dispel Gilgamesh's buffs, so we can do the most damage possible. So we do that here with Finger Snap. Got Rain there doing what he does best. And you're gonna want to debuff the magic. Now the magic has a 50% chance of being debuffed. So if you try it and it doesn't work, trust me, you can debuff the magic. It's probably just that that time when you did it, it just didn't prop off because of it being 50% and all. But the good thing about Noctis is that with the dual wield and that hybrid damage attack, it hits twice, so you have 2 chances of it going off, which is good. And Rain just jumped in front of Wilhelm. That's the last thing we want him doing. But he tends to do that throughout this fight, which is very annoying. But somehow we're able to manage and get through that. So that's one thing I really don't like about Rain, though. And there we go with Tidus. I think we're gonna go with his Limit Burst here. It's very awesome. That 100% debuff with the water element, so we can go in there and do a lot of damage. So you got to make sure that's a high priority. You got to make sure you get that maxed out, which I was able to do. So everything's going good here. We're at the first threshold, so it's important at this threshold that we continue to hit him with light, which we've already kind of been doing because we have 2 sources with Noctis and Tidus, both with the Excalibur. So we're not too worried. We're pretty much every time we're attacking with either one of those, we're securing what could be potential confusion and damage. So it's high priority, but we're not too worried about that just because of the way that we're attacking. So as long as you have some type of light element on at least 2 of your units, you should be good. Because confusing is the last thing we want on either a Noctis or a Tidus. Lots of good damage there. We got 2 counter units too, Rain and Wilhelm. Definitely don't like being hit too hard, so they'll come back and fight back, which I love about them. On the spell there, and we're trying to break his magic. That didn't work there, as I mentioned earlier. It's a hit or miss, but we're always going to try to get that down if we can. So everything is looking good here. Wilhelm taking a lot of the damage, Rain not jumping up there, so that's good. I always like to see Rain stay in his lane, knowing his role and shutting his damn mouth. like The Rock likes to say. So it's pretty much just a rinse and repeat until we get to the threshold. So not really much to speak on here. Just gonna see how this plays out. There goes Rain being all suicidal again. Gosh. Can we paralyze him or something? It's ridiculous. See, there you go, Rain. Just calm down, you know. Stop doing that stuff. I'm not gonna let you die. I know you want to die, but we can't let that happen. Or can we? So just a lot of consistency, you know, a lot of elements, you know, a lot of the same old that we talked about earlier. And we're getting pretty close to the next threshold with that warp strike there. There we go, blown past that threshold there. So 50% was passed. So after the 50% threshold, you know, we need to make sure that we're hitting him with the lightning. It's high priority. You know, that's something that we don't want to make sure we're missing because he does some AoE damage. He can debuff our defense and spirit and paralyze us. So that's something we always want to make sure that we're hitting him with from here on out. Yeah, we need to get some of Noctis' MP back. That might become a problem a little later in this fight, but for right now, we seem to be doing pretty good. Always want to keep that impregnable up. And we have a nice juicy tank there that can heal out this damage. You always want to make sure we have that. Very important. So he did his with that light attack. I don't think I sealed the light on that turn, but I think we were still good because it went to Wilhelm, and Wilhelm has innate resistance, so I think we were good there. There goes rain again. Jesus. Oh wow. So, got to hit him with the lightning with Noctis. Well, I guess it was because of the point where we couldn't use him, so that kind of sucks. So we have him paralyzed. We're approaching up on the next threshold, and things aren't looking too good right now, but I think we should be good. There we go. A lot of Tidus' attacks moves, I guess I don't use them too often. I'm not really sure like which moves really get the most damage. I know like his quick hit's pretty good. And I really like that that energy attack. It seems to have a lot of hits for chaining, but I can't seem to chain him very well with other units, and even himself, I'm not really able to chain too well with him. So don't really like that. I wish Bloom would fix that. And there we go. We're blowing past the last threshold, and what do you know? He knocks out 2 of my units. Great. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to think very fast, but we need to get these 2 units back up because there's a lot of things that we need from them, especially Rain with all those elements he's covering. So see what we can do here. We're going to raise Rain with Yestola and Dispel Gilgamesh, and then we're going to use Comeback, which is an ability by Noctis to get Tidus back up to full health. And then, we're hoping that Wilhelm can, get all the damage absorbed to him because, he's looking very good there, so I want to make sure that he's the one that's being targeted. Oh gosh, Tidus dropped again. Whoa, look at all that damage that Wilhelm just took. Uh-oh. Alright, and we got him paralyzed. Okay, so this isn't looking so good right now, but I think we'll be okay. I have faith in this team. I got Tidus back. And with the Karaja. And we're not really going to worry about Wilhelm. Wilhelm is very tanky. I mean, you saw his stats, that defense stat, so not sure why he dropped that fast earlier, but I don't think that's going to happen twice. We're just going to say that was a fluke. Uh-oh. Ooh. Oh, gosh. So close there, guys. Yeah. We're okay. We're still alive. 5 men strong, and a woman, or actually 4 men and 1 woman. And there we go. We got to end this quickly. I'm making a lot of mistakes here and running out of MP. So, we're gonna try to continue with our attack. And after this Thunder Flash, MP is gonna be a big problem for Noctis. And we're still not using any items here. I mean, if we were using items, this would be a cakewalk. But yeah, I'm still not gonna use any items. I don't think we need any here. We definitely don't. Oh, that's our guy, Wilhelm. Oh, what are you doing, Rain? Why? Do you just want to die that bad? Like, do you want to die? Alright, so I think we might need 1 other turn. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. So we're going to try to heal. Rain did some dumb stuff just a few seconds ago, so we need to get him back up. And Tidus has a lot of MP. Noctis, on the other hand, I don't think he's gonna be able to do much except single target attack with his normal move. So we're just gonna do that. I mean, he still has a lot of attack, and probably get a good amount of damage in, so I'm not too worried there. And we're having MP problems with Wilhelm too, so we really need to end this quick, guys. Alright, getting it down to the last 10%, so we're not going to waste much time here. We're going to need to go all in and get this finished, so... Oh gosh, our healer got paralyzed, but you know what? We're just going to go in all or nothing, all or nothing. I'm playing all my chips, all my cards on this next turn, so we'll see if it's enough. So we just dropped Gilgamesh's water resistance down, so Tidus is going to go in there and knock him out. And just in case, oh, you know what? I wasn't worried. Ooh, that was close. Noctis gave us the extra that we needed, but we got it over and done with. So it got pretty hectic on the last 30%. I kind of got carried away and made some mistakes in some of the things I was doing. I totally wasn't taking my own advice there, but we still got it done now. It's all that matters. So yeah, that's how I did it with my team. We were able to do the no items and the 5-man. Of course, we didn't go for the limit burst, which I could have done with either unit here, but it was a pretty straightforward fight. Just make sure that when you're going through that, you're looking at a lot of elements and not doing what I just did, but somehow we were able to get it done. All right, well, hey, thanks guys for tuning in today to look at some gameplay on the Gilgamesh trial. I'm sure you guys have seen many videos at this point, but please like and subscribe if you want more content. And you guys, peace out. Have a good one.